Ah, very good coffee and good morning, or well, for me, afternoon for me. But yeah, welcome everyone to the Year of the Bird show. Obviously, talking about Spurs and Newcastle. Obviously, I'm joined with Charlie. But before we get started, obviously, just so that everyone knows, there
Yeah,
will be the World Cup draws is for my channel. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Spain time, 5 p.m. UK for most of the viewers on the channel. Obviously, I will be joined with Charlie, but also Ahmed Zia Talks, AD744, and Rank Talks Ball. So a five-person panel representing the whole entire world, including Italy.
that's Italy's a maybe. Unfortunately, at this stage, we still have to go through the playoffs, but at least England's there, so at least I can represent someone. But yeah, should be good. Check that out. It will be streamed on my channel as well. So
Yeah,
whichever broadcast you want to watch, feel free. But yeah,
it's
we
the
will
same
be.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we will be live tomorrow on my birthday. So it
Oh
should be.
yeah. So tomorrow Charlie gets to, celebrate his birthday. So
Yeah.
do watch our stream, whichever stream doesn't matter.
Exactly, yeah, 100%. But yeah, make sure you're subscribing to both channels, Charlie GTV and 10 there as well. Get all your thoughts in the chat. Of course, this is the second year of the Bird episode where both teams have played each other. Of course,
Yeah,
after meeting in the Carabao Cup. Unfortunately, there won't be another one until February,
yeah,
unless we both meet in the first round of the FA Cup. So
yeah.
yeah, it should be good. 2-2. Obviously, we'll talk about the Premier League games since the last show as well, and the upcoming Premier League and Champions League games as well. So yeah, should be a good show as always. Yeah, thanks for having me on 10, and yeah, big up Nick joining as well. It's been a while, Nick. Big up to you
Oh
every
yeah. I
single
think
time. Yeah, good to see you back.
I saw you on AD's channel maybe. But yeah, we might as well get started with I guess the games from the weekend before Spurs Newcastle. First up, thankfully, at least on this show, again, there's at least one of our teams that won over the past 7 days.
Not
Newcastle,
mine.
again, I should have had two. But it's Everton 1, Newcastle United 4 in the Premier League. And this marks the very first time on the show Newcastle United win an away game in the Premier League.
Yay.
Finally. But yeah, my thoughts on the game. Obviously, with a bit of hindsight, I wish, this carried on against Spurs, but didn't. But for me, the game against Everton was actually easy. We took the lead after like 52 seconds. Malik Chow with the goal. Alanga was the one that won the corner, basically, with a save from Pickford, not Pickford, Pickford. And um, and then we scored from the corner. Lewis Hall with the delivery, and obviously Malik Chow headed in. And then for the remainder of the first half until we scored the second. It did look like maybe Everton could be dangerous, but then once we made it 2-0 through Lewis Miley, so a Geordie scoring on a Mackham, Miley scoring against
It was.
Pickford.
Do you see that mistake from Pickford? I mean, you couldn't make it up in all games. He does that clanger that he dropped again.
Yeah,
Had to be against Newcastle.
yeah. I hope Roofs also does that in like 10
To
10
be
days.
fair, you won't like to hear this, but that Robin Roofs, who I hadn't heard of before, has been brilliant this season. I think he's been the best keeper in the league so far.
After Vicario.
I think he's been better than.
Probably not after that Fulham game. Probably not.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, once we made it 2-0, I think it was a bit comfortable. I was obviously on Strasbourg Steve, not on his channel, but TCF Extra, True City Fan
Yeah.
Extra. And also big up to
Angus, big up
Angus. Yeah.
every single time.
Um, but yeah, once we made it 2-0, it did look a little bit more comfortable, and then obviously we scored the third goal. What is finally Alanga made an actual assist.
He finally contributed, which, yeah, to be fair, he hasn't done all season for you guys.
I'll say this is his best game for us. Obviously made the pass. He beat, I think it was Bunham to the ball, and then gave the pass to Voltemada, and Voltemada, as always, does score. Basically lobs over Pickford and into the net, and it was 3-0 at halftime. So at that, it was comfortable. And then the second half, not really anything in terms of like, oh, could we make it 4, 5, 6? I know Steve was trying to say that, but I was like, I don't really care, just win.
I mean, to be fair, with your away record, you can't really be sure at any sort of score until the game's done. So.
Well, I mean, surely we're not like Spurs against West Ham in 2020, right? I don't remember
we're not doing that. That's too long. I purposely put that out of my mind. That's too long.
You had yeah, but at least we didn't lose to them. If it's his team. But yeah, once it was halftime, comfortable, and then second half, as I said, not really eventful. We scored a fourth, Malik Chow, with the goal again. So Malik Chow was on a hat trick, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll talk about another defender that was somewhat almost on a hat trick.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. But yeah, Malik Chow with the goal, which at this current time, unfortunately, because I wanted him to score last night, Malik Chow has more goals than Alexander Isak. Who? This guy. But I was like, come on, Liverpool. You had one job as well. You had one job, Liverpool.
I mean, you're lucky they didn't lose. If they lost that, I mean, to be fair, you probably wouldn't hear the end.
We would actually be head loss because we never win at Anfield.
Yeah, you guys never win at Anfield. So.
Oh, yeah. I saw yesterday 4-3.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Dan Burn.
Yeah.
We'll get into. I have a bit to say about Dan Burn, to be honest.
Yeah. But Dan Burn in this game, actually everyone in the Everton game was really good. I don't think there was any bad players or any bad performances, and that's a surprising thing because Elanga actually had his best game. Not man of the match. I would probably give it to, I think I said Malik Chow because he scored 2 goals, and also, as always, really good defender and 10 people watching.
Oh yeah, big up to the 10 people watching. Subscribe and like if you haven't already. Big up everyone.
But yeah, I think in terms of like performances, obviously the best away performance since USG, obviously, because that's the only other time we won away from home in any competition. And I think at the moment, I think the win was important, even though right now Everton are still above us now in the league.
I mean, look, they got a winner at Bournemouth right after, but yeah, look, from what I saw, I mean, in the first half, Everton kind of missed a couple of chances. You guys kind of rode your luck a little bit, but overall, look, you went 3-0 up at half time.
Yeah.
Like you had a massive
really good goal by Dewsbury Hall, actually.
Yeah, great. One of the best consolation goals I've seen. So, I mean, you scored within like a minute or something, Chow, straight away.
So far.
So look, it was a win that Newcastle, look, with the run of form that you guys have been on away from home, like you really needed that win. Obviously, congrats on becoming the second ever team to win at the Hill Dickinson Stadium.
Yay! Just like how we did at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, our first visit.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, he's been fantastic. I mean, obviously, for someone that watches Serie A, like I knew that Chow was a good player. I didn't think he was like great. And he's been way better than I expected, if I'm honest. Like at Milan, he was one of those where on his day he could be really good, but he was a bit inconsistent. At Newcastle, so far, he's been way better than I thought, if I'm honest.
I think I'll be honest. I mean, the Voltemada could be signing for us of the season, but I think. Well, actually, I don't really mind who's signing.
Voltemada or Chow. I mean, obviously, you know, like Elanga's been kind of disappointing, although he did contribute in that game.
One game, yeah.
One game. But look, it was a good win for you guys in your. Whenever you guys play Everton, I always say this. It was a good win for you guys in your weird rivalry that you have with Everton. That I.
It's probably because of Pickford, maybe. But
It probably is, but it's like I hear if anyone's that's watching knows, please let me know because I still don't know where this like rivalry with Everton and Newcastle comes from because I hear like Newcastle fans calling them the Scouse Mackhams and everything.
yeah, I mean,
I
we're
have no idea what this is over.
but I would say Malik Chow. Would I say I was surprised that he's doing this well? Not really, but I would say obviously he's doing better than who do you call this? Botman for sure, and all that.
Listen, he's been
Anyway,
good. He's been good for Sunderland. He has. He's been good for them. 10 loves it. He loves
no.
it.
What do you call this? But yeah, overall, really good performance from us against Everton. I think it was a performance that we needed. Obviously, we didn't get that performance against Spurs, but it was a performance that we needed at that time to at least finally get some confidence. It was the first time we won back-to-back Premier League games. Yeah, because we beat Man City. You should be thankful, Angus. And what do you call this? What's the other? And Everton. So yeah, good result, obviously in the end, and thankfully we're not really in that relegation battle. Remember when we were just 2 points ahead?
Yeah, look, listen.
Now Spurs are with us.
Listen, there's no danger of that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that there is no danger of you guys getting into a relegation battle. Like,
Yeah, maybe I don't know about.
I don't think no, not for us either. I mean, it just won't happen. Big up to Evolve today every single time as well. But I guess unfortunately we'll talk about some misery that I had to endure on Saturday of going 2 goals down within 5 minutes or so. And yeah, Angus, can we talk about Chelsea? Yeah, 100%. They got beat by Leeds. How'd you get beat by Leeds?
They lost to Dominic Calvert-Lewandowski.
How did you concede to Calvert-Lewin's like the worst striker I've ever seen? So yeah, just briefly mention that there. But yeah, listen, Saturday was depressing, man. Like 2 goals down in 5 minutes. We showed zero resistance to find a way back in the game until essentially Kudus did a moment of individual brilliance with his goal in the second half. But once again, it was another shit home performance. It was another game where we couldn't get a shot on target in the first half. And look, I don't want to carry on too much about this game because we've played since then, of course, against Newcastle, but just more of the same at home. Just more of the same at home. That's all I can say. And Frank has basically he tinkered with it again. He took away all our momentum after because look, when we did get the goal, we looked like we were pushing. He makes about 3 or 4 subs, just completely kills all the momentum. And yeah, it was another terrible performance at home and a game that we should be winning. We've once again failed to win. And for Frank, the pressure really mounted on him after that game because the fans, were booing and whistling at him. There was the whole incident with Vicario. Look, it was a bad mistake. But the way I see it is this, like the booing on him was disgusting because first of all, like it's unfair to single out an individual player. And secondly, to be fair, he doesn't look happy. I don't even blame him, to be honest, with the way we're being set up attacking on the attacking side of the game. But also, Vicario has saved us in so many games. If it wasn't for him, we would have got battered in like against Monaco, Bodo Glimt, like these kind of games. If it wasn't for Vicario, we would have got smashed. So yeah, Newcastle in the well, maybe not as much, but I see what you mean. But yeah, listen, it was a disgrace to go 2 goals down in like 5 minutes. Obviously one of them was deflected, but still, like it was horrific. And yes, tomorrow we will be live, so go and check that out.
Well, not Eastern summertime. I think it's Eastern time because it's
Eastern
summertime.
Yeah, tomorrow. But yeah, basically the Fulham game really mounted the pressure up on Frank, and the lack of attacking quality, the lack of attacking just structure and tactics in general to actually move the ball forward was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And that game Look, the pressure was on him before, but that game really mounted up the pressure after that. And you saw, and look, obviously we'll talk about the Newcastle game, but even after getting that draw at Newcastle, I don't think a lot has changed, which obviously I'll talk about our performance. But because for me, you saw it after the Fulham game, there are all the leaks coming out saying players are confused, players, don't really like playing for him, all of this sort of stuff. And that's when a manager's coming to the end. When these leaks come out, it happened with Poch, it happened with Mourinho, it happened with Nuno. And when it was, look, we haven't improved defensively. At the start of the season, yes, we were doing better defensively. But right now, we haven't. We haven't whatsoever right now. And the fact that we can't attack, yet the manager can't even get the defensive structure right, means we're just completely just opened up and turned over most games, especially at home. So, I mean, I'll just ask you, like I said, I don't want to go on about this too much. But, Tem, what was your thoughts on our game against Fulham? Because it was, once again, another game that we failed to win at home. And it's another game that, for me, put serious pressure on Frank.
Yeah. So this was with the knowledge of the Newcastle, not without Newcastle Spurs game. So at that time, obviously we did our show last time, obviously before the Fulham game, and we both said a win for Spurs, and then within 6 minutes it was 2-0 for them. I think in the first goal, I forgot who scored or how it happened.
Tete.
Oh yeah, it was like along the 18-yard box, and then Tete scored. I would say, would you have done better defensively? Because I think it took a deflection, I would say. So I would say it's not really anyone's fault, or Vicario's. Oh, Vicario should have saved because it took a deflection. That's why he didn't, make the stop. And then, but the second goal, I would not really say it can be partly Vicario's fault, but I think it was Danso or whoever. Usually,
just go back to the line.
I know the line.
Vicario's, and they're just standing there. They're not trying to go, because he probably would have cleared it off the line.
He was just like,
just jogging back. And for me, that says a lot, because just look at the body language. Just look at the the sort of mentality that some of our players are showing. For me, I said this. I think he's lost the dressing room personally.
Even after, but that second goal, yes, it could be Vicario's fault, but I also blame both centre backs or whoever, even Van de Ven. Like, one of them should have been.
You saw as well in that Fulham game. If it wasn't for Van de Ven, we would have been 4-0 down in 10 minutes, because there was the one where Chukwueze goes round the keeper, and then Van de Ven makes that last-ditch tackle, which is one of the best last-ditch tackles I've ever seen. If it wasn't, and they hit the post, if it wasn't for that, it would have been 4-0. And for me, that's a shambles, because the myth has been, Frank's fixed the defense. He hasn't fixed the defense. There's no structure. There's no organization whatsoever. And the attack is completely just done right now. I mean, you saw it. We failed to get a shot on target again in the first half.
Yeah. I mean, in almost every game, that's the case. So we kind of know what the score should be in the next few games. But I think for Spurs, obviously I guess we can include the Newcastle game. Apart from Copenhagen, when was the last time Spurs won?
At home.
Copenhagen, if you want to.
Copenhagen, Villarreal, and Burnley. The last league game, the last home win we have is Burnley.
Damn.
Which was the first day of the season.
I didn't even realize. Wait, so then Newcastle should play at Spurs first.
Yeah, if we played at home, you probably would have beaten us, if I'm honest. If we played, because at home we're significant. See, you're saying this happens every year. We don't go this long without a home win every year. I can tell you that for a fact.
I mean, wasn't Arsenal at one point in the relegation zone during the COVID times? Or something that.
We were there. I remember. You had to be there. You had to be there.
Pre-season, before the season started, I said Spurs.
I said Newcastle.
So you kind of see how we both feel about our clubs. But my reasoning was because I think the Champions League, and it seems like also the Carabao Cup and maybe FA Cup, will put a little bit more focus on. and I thought we would have consistent inconsistencies, so not being consistent in the Prem, which is actually it's for both of us. We have like almost the identical record, so
We're level on points. We're
yeah,
literally the same points. I think we're
but
only ahead on goal difference. So
yeah,
yes.
yeah. So I would say, but for me, it was kind of expected we'd be inconsistent at this stage of the
I
season.
think. Do you know what it is? I think that the biggest problem with what's going on at Spurs right now, I think, is the home record, because the way I see it is the fans pay some of the most expensive prices in world football, and they're
Mhm.
going to watch that sack of shit that we're seeing right now, like this absolute bullshit that's being served up to us right now is ridiculous. And I think that's where the frustration is building from, because at home that's supposed to be, sort of you're no matter who you are, if you go this long without winning at home, it's kind of shocking.
Yeah, it's like
And
December and August.
I think the problem with Frank has to realize that he's not at Brentford anymore, because at Brentford, if they stayed, and I mean this with all respect, if they stayed in the league, that was obviously the success to them. If they stay in the league, obviously at Spurs that isn't the case. But this is the problem. I agree, Angus. Like I don't know who could come in right now. I think at the end of the season it's a different conversation, but I don't know who can come in right now personally. So, and that's the problem. Like we're kind of stuck. I mean, I'm not saying it's entirely Frank's fault what's going on, but he's probably got to go. And like I said, the Newcastle game hasn't changed my opinion on this. Frank has probably got to go, because I don't see how he's capable of turning this situation around. We haven't won one game where we've been behind this season. We look incapable of scoring goals. And yes, he's not. Look, the quality isn't there up front for sure, but we barely look like we can create a chance, like create anything. So I can tell you this for a fact: I do not want Poch back. I can tell you this for a fact: Poch has gone downhill since leaving us. It's as simple as that. Since we sacked him, he's gone downhill. I do not want this guy whatsoever.
Well, watch him make like the World Cup semi-final.
And then maybe his stock will go up a little bit, but even then, like I do not want Poch back at this club. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, some fans want Big Ange.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But anyone saying they want Ange back is crazy, because let's be honest. I keep saying this. If Ange had stayed, everyone we'd all be saying Ange out right now. Let's not beat around the bush here. We'd all be saying we want him sacked right now.
Probably be level with Wolves.
He'd probably be even worse, if I'm honest. Just because people forget, right? Ange won that Europa League by completely ripping up his style of football, playing the complete opposite way, just to get it done. And then let's be honest, let's not pretend that if he had stayed, he would have just reverted back to Ange ball. So, and look, listen, Angus, if you're still watching this and you've met Ange, so you know all about him.
Oh,
so,
damn. That's
yeah. So there you go. But
yeah.
I mean, this is the problem. Yeah, we can't get a world class manager now, because because Levy. Look, I know Levy's not here anymore, but Levy's given us this. Look, this is what we're seeing right now is Levy's legacy. Essentially, we have. No, I'm not saying Anjan. I'm saying that would be the worst possible thing that could happen. But I'm saying that this is the problem. Levy's ruined and destroyed so many like world-class managers that have come to this club, like Mourinho, like Conte. He's completely just ruined it. So that has completely destroyed any credibility we had. So it's going to take a while for us to get to a point where we can get managers of that ilk again. It's as simple as that. So yeah, that of course is something to consider. But I guess that's sort of enough on the Fulham game, because it was quite a while ago now. I guess we'll talk about the game between our clubs on
Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday,
which we both at the same time did a watch along for. People I do.
Yeah, this is about Ange. Yeah.
Oh damn. And big up to Jordan.
Oh, big up every single time. Yeah, 100%. Before the Liverpool game, we'll do a preview. 100%.
Yeah, I'll say Liverpool 0, Spurs 1, because it's I think it's at Anfield.
No, it's at our ground.
Oh, okay, 5-0 Liverpool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess Spurs away at Newcastle. This game ended 2-2. Obviously, as I said, we both did the watch long together. Let me do that. Right. So yeah, this was the game between our two teams. I guess as the home team, I like the starting 11. Obviously, we did like a 30-minute preview on the watch long. So if you want to see our thoughts before the game started, watch the first 30 minutes or so of the watch long that we did on Tuesday evening. For me, I was happy with this lineup. Obviously, Ramsdale in goal, mainly because also Nick Pope is injured for a few weeks, which I'm not wishing any injury on any Newcastle player. I don't mind saying that to Sunderland, um, but I would say Ramsdale is better than Pope right now, because Pope has been really bad.
Pope's had a bad season, yeah.
Yeah,
But the problem is that you guys, yeah, we did change it. But it's the problem for you guys is you got Ramsdale, who I think is one of the worst goalkeepers I've ever seen.
yeah.
So
He kept a clean sheet against you the first time.
I'll tell you something about Ramsdale. More relegations than clean sheets. There you go.
No. But yeah, I think, and then obviously you have the back four, which I said is our best back four. Lewis Hall, Livermore on both sides, and then Chow and Burn. I think those two or that back line should be the back four for us. And then midfield of Miley, Joe Linton, Tonali. Tonali went off mainly probably because of tactical. I don't think there was any bad or injury, and Bruno Guimaraes came on. So I would say at least, obviously we didn't lose this game, but the fact that we can actually rotate Tonali and Bruno is pretty
I mean,
good.
Bruno changed the game when he came.
Yeah,
if I'm honest.
but I'll say the good thing is that now we can at least rotate those two guys, because I think they're the two most important. Because if obviously I would prefer for them to play together, but obviously you might risk, maybe, I hope not, never, an injury. Like, actually I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to say anything. So, but yeah, and then the front line being Murphy, Bonds, and Voltemade. I think that was, before the game, I would say better, because yeah, Elanga had a good game against Everton, but like everyone had a good game against Everton. Even like Anthony Gordon for 2 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
So I would say that was the lineup I wanted. Obviously, it wasn't the performance I wanted. And then I guess for Spurs lineup.
I mean, it was, yeah. I mean, our lineup. Look, I mean, obviously he rested Van de Ven, which obviously was a big sort of question mark in going into the game. Look, it was definitely, it was another tinkering that Frank did, and that's been his issue. He's tinkering a lot with the team. Obviously, look, the front line was sort of interesting. Richarlison on the bench, Kolo Muani up front. Midfield, Bergvall, Sarr, Bentancur. I mean, look, like I said on the watch along with the line, I don't really get caught up on lineups anymore. Because look, I know kind of a few weeks ago I was getting really frustrated at some of the team selections. I don't really get caught up on it anymore, because whatever we do, it's not working, and because it's not working, we keep changing it and we keep tinkering with it, and that's giving us no continuity whatsoever. So look, if I'm honest, there's not really a lot for me to say about the lineup, because I've just given up getting caught up on it, to be honest. So, but I mean, in terms of the game,
first half, who cares? That was one.
It was, look, for about 70 minutes, it was so boring. It was
so boring, and you
It was
had
one
Man City format, like, on
at the same time during the first half.
I'm like, why can't we have a 5-4, 6-7?
To be fair, I would rather just be like 2-0 up or something even if it's boring. But
Yeah.
the thing for me was I thought Newcastle were the better team. Obviously, Joe Linton hit the post. Vicario was the busier goalkeeper. It was it was the fourth first half in a row without a shot on target for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting. And the way I see it is this. Look, I mean, Newcastle weren't quite as dangerous as I thought they would be going forward.
Yeah.
But for us, it was the same as far as I see it. Apart from a first apart from the last 10 minutes or so of the first half when Bergvall had that sort of half chance, it was more of the same. No ideas going forward. Could have potentially conceded. And, I didn't think we were offering anything going forward. It was the same for me. It was nothing really changed for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that first half, maybe because of Spurs being very boring in that first half, the first half was really boring. Like, I was like,
Oh,
damn,
it was hurt. Yeah.
it was like
It's so boring.
I was like, you know what? I would at that time I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if it just ends 0-0 because we weren't really clinical. Obviously, we hit the post with Joe Linton, and then maybe had. I'm not sure if one of the goal line clearances was in the first half or second half.
Both were in the second half. I mean, obviously you had
Dan's the first half was.
You had Danzo which to be fair, I thought Danzo had a good game. To be fair, stepping in for Van de Ven and Brennan Johnson of all people, which I wasn't happy to see starting. Of course, he did nothing. He's one that he needs to be one of the first players sold over the next couple of transfer windows. But listen, somehow he got a goal line clearance in there. But so I think what sort of changed the game in your favour, because I thought in the second half you looked better than a lot of the first. What changed the game was the subs. I thought Gordon and Bruno sort of come. Obviously, Bruno came on at half time. Thought both changed the game for you guys. Obviously, I know it's easy to say that because both scored, but I thought in general, you looked a lot more dangerous with them on the pitch.
Yeah, I think Bruno, obviously, as I said, like the fact that we can at least rotate Tonali and Bruno, because I say they're the two best midfielders for us. Of course, I want them to play together, but if there are some games whereby we have to play one over the other, I would be okay with that. Yeah, I would say, would I do the same, let's say, in the next episode where we talk about when we play a certain team in 10 days' time? Would I want that as the midfield, in both of them in the midfield at the same time? In my opinion, not really, because I think Lewis Miley had a shot in that first half, I remember. Vicario saved.
Yeah, it was one of the saves.
Actually, Miley's been past 2 games and only 2 games. But Miley, kind of stepping up at the moment, I would say. And when Miley came off, we conceded in the last minute or whatever. But that first half, as I said, boring. But with Bruno coming in, obviously, I would say a lot more creative than Tonali, I would say. Because Tonali's more like a defensive midfielder, you can say. And Bruno's more of a sort of a playmaker, but not.
Bruno's more of an 8. He's definitely, the way I see him is he's definitely not a 6. He's an 8. Bruno.
Yeah.
And obviously his goal was brilliant. Like his goal was fantastic.
Oh, and that kind of first time Baltimore made an assist in his Newcastle.
Oh, really? His first assist. I mean, that goal kind of obviously it came just after the 70th minute. It kind of just sparked the game into life. And because before that, like you said, it was like I said, I thought you guys were the better team. But overall, it was very boring, especially us. I mean, we, again, didn't have a shot on target. Just as a quick spoiler, we had 2 shots on target, and both of them were Romero.
were scored. Yeah. I was like, had we been more clinical in the game, or maybe no goal line clearance, maybe if Brenda Johnson, or as I would call him, Brenda Song from Disney Channel, Brenda Song Johnson, didn't make one of the goal line clearances, maybe we win the game 3-1, 3-2, whatever. But I'll be honest, Spurs, it's just like most of their games, so boring. I'll be honest, but we were boring as well.
I warned you, but I did warn you in the preview. I did warn you. I was like, this is going to be a tough watch. And to be fair, look, we responded to the goal pretty well. I mean, obviously, look, Kudus, again, another assist for him. Kudus by far has been our best attacker this year. Romero, who's our striker / centre back, just like Van de Ven is. I mean, it was a brilliant header to get us level.
Where's Romero in the Tottenham goal scoring chart?
He's joint with Van de Ven. He's on 6 goals, I think.
In all
he's either our joint top scorer or our second top scorer. Because
and Van de Ven is number 1.
I mean, this shows a couple of things. It shows that our centre backs are good at scoring goals, which is obviously a good thing to have. But the other thing it shows how bad our attackers are and how bad we've been going forward? Apart from Haaland, who's the most clutch player? That's a good
If you
question.
say like in the whole world, Mbappe.
In the whole world, Mbappe,
If it's
probably.
just the Prem,
Apart from Haaland.
in the
I mean,
Prem,
you can't say Salah this season. You can't say Salah.
can't really. There's not really an Arsenal player I can say. Newcastle, no.
Because if you're not the definition of clutches,
Yeah, I would probably say. To be honest, I don't really think any Premier League player is really.
the Prem. This is why we say the Prem's overrated. Before, do you know? Before he left, I would have said Gundogan.
Maybe Marino, but
Mikel Marino. Come on.
It's only really been like 1-2 games. Obviously, one against us, but it's not really moments like that. Like obviously, if you talk about the world, Mbappe for sure. I would say Mbappe is still the number one. You could say Holland as well, but in the Premier League, obviously not Salah this season.
Yeah, no.
But if you were to say just overall, you could say Salah. Just overall, you could say just the quality he has. But to be honest, there's not really anyone apart from maybe Haaland. Maybe Foden.
Yeah.
Maybe
Foden this season, to be fair. But anyway, I'll come back to the game. We can come back to this after.
Yeah.
But yeah, Romero gets us level. I mean, lovely header, basically in a striker's position. Because the way I see is this is what happened. Romero just decided to just put the team on his back as a centre back, and obviously he got the other equaliser with an incredible overhead kick, which was, even then it was a bit scuffed, but it was still like, to see a centre back doing that is wild, to be honest. And obviously it was his brace, but. What we need to, we have to talk about that penalty. Because for me, that is never a penalty in a million years. The more I see it, the more annoyed I get. Because what happened was, obviously it was a corner. Dan Burn is the one that they say is fouled by Bentancur. And I'll say this right now. Bentancur had a stinker. I thought he was probably our worst player. But if anything, it looks like, I mean, Dan Burn's just big. He's just a big guy. So it creates the illusion.
Bigger.
It creates the illusion that he's fouled. But in reality, I think Bentancur was the one that was fouled, if anything. It's a 50-50. It's, yeah. I mean, obviously, what's your thoughts on that? Because for me, it was one of the worst penalty decisions I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean,
no way in hell was it a penalty.
I mean, at least I was obviously happy we ended up scoring from it, but it looked like a 50-50, and usually those sort of like things that happen usually goes in favor of the defensive team most of the time, unless it's like, obviously the one I can remember more clearly that's somewhat similar would be Argentina, Saudi Arabia. That was like almost a long time ago, but yeah, it looked like a 50-50. Obviously, I was happy we ended up getting the penalty, but I would say kind of lucky.
Very lucky to get the penalty. And it was just frustrating because it was like not so long after we scored. You know, I'm thinking that, look, we got a goal. Who knows what could happen at this point? But obviously, you guys get the penalty given to you, and I thought that was it. But then we came back again, which I didn't. I thought at 2-1 it was done. I didn't think we. But it was Romero. Listen,
Gordon scored his first goal of the season, first time since January.
In the Prem, exactly. So I don't know. Look, it was definitely annoying that it was given. Big up to Brawl Lover as well, every single time. Big up to you. Yeah, it was frustrating that was given because obviously it wasn't so long after we got the equaliser after going behind, which I thought, to be honest, at 1-0, I thought it was done. I thought that it was done, but up steps Romero. Up steps Romero with 2 goals, 2 brilliant goals, and he put our team on his back, basically. I mean, for you, after you probably thought you'd won it when you got the penalty.
Probably, and I was ready to cut my hair. I have to wait for at least maybe 3, 4, 5 seasons from now to do that. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. But we could have made 5 home wins in a row against Spurs. But yeah, Romero with a really good goal.
If they're allowed to spend,
I think I won't say it, but I think we might at some point. But I'll say this: if we win the Champions League before Arsenal, I'll take it. Because Man City got taken over and then won a Champions League before Arsenal did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very good result.
I agree. It's a good result for us. I think, like I said, I thought we'd lose. I thought that we would, probably get battered again. But we walk away with a draw that I didn't think we'd get, a draw that, look, in isolation, it is a decent result. Drawing at St James's Park, they have very, very good home form.
Yeah.
So I'll take it. But listen, we still can't win a game. We are still on a winless run that is unacceptable for us right now.
What's the last time you've won in the
last time we won in the Prem was Everton at the end of October. That's the last time we won in the Prem. So over a month.
So apart from Copenhagen, damn.
Yeah, it's not good enough. And you look, I've got the stats up here. I mean, look at the stats. Like I said, I mean, the frustrating thing was for a lot of the second half when it was really boring before Bruno scored and stuff. I actually thought that, look, I mean, you guys were the better team, yes. But I actually thought you guys weren't, like I said, you weren't as good as I thought you might be against us. And I thought if we were a bit better, we could have potentially gone on to win that game. But because we were worse, you guys still dominated a lot of that game. Even though, it wasn't by a lot, you still were the better team. And for me, that says a lot about us. That even though I don't think you were amazing, you were still much the better team. And that says a lot about us. I mean, look at the stats. I mean, it goes in your favor. Over 2 XG, we still can't reach 1. We still can't reach 1 XG.
Have you reached 1?
I can't. I have no idea. I have genuinely no idea. And you look at this, 8 shots and 2 on target. And our 2 shots on target were Romero. Were Romero right at the end to go and nick us a draw.
Would you agree with this?
Frank looks like he's... Honestly, I think he's getting worse. I would have said this at the start of the season. I would have said this, yes. I mean, is he better than Ange still? Yes, I still think that he's better than Ange.
A trophy.
In the sense that he is more tactically flexible than Ange, but right now he's tinkering too much. It's almost as if we've gone from a manager that refuses to adapt to a manager that's adapting too much right now. That's it. That seems to be, we've gone from one extreme to another. That's what seems to be happening. So yeah. Look, our home record is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Our home record. So, but this was away, and look, we ended up getting a point from it, which I will take because I expected absolutely nothing from this game. But listen, let's be honest. If it wasn't for Romero, putting the whole team on his back, which he's done on a few occasions this season, we're staring in the face at another defeat without a shot on target. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So I'll probably say the fact that we conceded a
overhead kick from a centre back.
It's not the greatest bicycle kick because I do think McGoldton's goal for Scotland against Denmark is better. So at least
Romero's a centre back. You least expect
McGoldton is the GOAT. So at least we didn't concede to McGoldton. Maybe unless we play Napoli.
To be fair, you were lucky you didn't concede to Richarlison when he came on.
Exactly. So I'll or Brenda. I would have had lost if Brenda scored. Because I was you know what? Watch Richarlison score against us. Because I was saying it in the.
To be fair, I'm kind of glad that Vert scored yesterday because I was saying this whole time, watch him get his first goal against us in December. Later this month.
Thank you, Florian. I love Florian.
But what's your thoughts on the result? Because obviously, look, it must be very frustrating for you considering you're at home. You've got a good record against us in recent years, and you went ahead twice. You took the lead twice in this game and couldn't see it out.
Yeah, I think obviously this game we went. I would say, had we been more clinical, maybe we win this. I would say because even without the penalty and all that, I think we would have probably won the game. But it's not the best sort of, what do you call this? Aftermath after beating Everton away. You just won your first away game. People are like, oh, maybe there's some confidence back, and now it's more of the same as usual, just being inconsistent and all. And if we were to draw against Burnley this coming weekend, we would actually have the identical record of last season of 5 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses in the Prem. So I would probably say this result wasn't the best for us. Even though thankfully we're not going to be relegated. Thankfully, um,
Well, like
but
I said, that was never going to happen. So
yeah, yeah, more likely you. Yeah, I'm kidding.
that's not going to happen either. I can tell you that.
Orange back. But yeah, I would say this game for us not the greatest. You could say frustrating, and we probably maybe could have won, but we didn't. So I think that was maybe the unfortunate thing for us. And
I don't think anything. Our home record
uh,
only Wolves have a worse home record than us. We can't win a fucking game at home. We're literally incapable of it right now.
yeah,
And
you just have to play Burnley.
That's why for me, like I look at this game and think, look, it's a good in isolation. It's a good result for us because we never win at St James's. We usually get turned over. And in general, it's a tough away ground for away teams to go to. I mean, you guys had what 6 straight home wins coming into this, so
I actually didn't know that.
yeah, 6 straight. I read it. Yeah, you had 6 straight home wins, so it was good in all competitions. That is, so it was good for us to not lose there. But
well, you did before.
it was good. Yeah, we did, but it's good for us not to lose in this game.
Yeah.
Considering, and I think look, it obviously it helps Frank a little bit in the sense that look, we went behind twice. We were able to muster up something, but let's be honest, it was Romero did it single handedly, along with Kudus for that assist for the first goal. It was basically Romero and a little bit of Kudus, basically. That's all it was. But the rest of the team, apart from maybe Bergval, who I thought was good,
Vicario maybe,
or Vicario, who made some saves. Maybe Danzo, a lot of them were bad again. Like it was, I mean, and I focus a lot on the attack because the attack just offer us nothing. Like, even though you look at it on paper, you look Kolo Muani, he's decent. Kudus, he's very good. Johnson, look, I won't talk about him, but that's 2 players there that you'd think can muster up more than no shots on target between them in the game. And I think that's where you have to look at the sort of manager in the sense that Frank tinkers and he changes and the attack stays the same and nothing ever changes. It is absolutely shambolic. And that's why for me, look, I'll take the result, but nothing's changed for me. Like absolutely nothing has changed. My opinion is still the same after this game. Because I mean the stats show it. 2 shots on target, 2 goals, both from our centre-back. Let that sink in. And an XG of 0.75. And another game, and the 4th game in a row without a shot on target in the first half.
Yeah. Could it be? I'll let Charlie should go bald if Spurs do not have a shot on target 5
games in a row.
First halves in a row.
I mean, I wouldn't bet against it happening again against Brentford on Saturday. But I mean, look at the table. Obviously, I'll cut off
together. But at least I get to see us.
Yeah, we're together 11th and 12th. Mid-table mediocrity.
Yeah, at least we have wins in that column.
We don't. Look, this is what I'm saying about our form.
Wait, apart from the teams at the bottom.
Hold on. Apart from the bottom 2, we're on the worst form in the league.
Of the last 5 teams. Even leagues have won more recently.
Yeah, against Chelsea. But this is what I'm saying. I mean, look, we're both not far away from the top 5. But, obviously it's not good. Yeah. Especially with us, with our recent form. Like, it's horrendous. Just looking at the table.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be a big talking point for this upcoming game. We'll start with Spurs, because actually we both play at the same time. It's Tottenham against Brentford. We might as well get to that. Let me adjust that. Tottenham, Brentford. And where is it? Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But the storyline is, will Thomas Frank lose to his former set-piece coach? Imagine that. I mean, we lost to his set-piece coach. Will you? We'll find out.
Brentford at home. First of all, I mean, it's at home. That just fills me with complete disbelief. Yeah. How embarrassed. Look, Brentford, I know they just lost to Arsenal yesterday, but overall, they've been doing a lot better than everyone expected. They're above us right now. They're above us. That's all. Yeah. So Brentford are doing well. And that's been, to be fair, quite alarming in the sense that Frank has gone, yet Brentford are just fine. I think that might be a few alarm bells in terms of Frank's quality as a manager. But
Sure, guys, set piece coach then.
because Keith Andrews was his set piece coach. He worked under Frank, plus all of the other coaching staff that we took from Brentford. Look, like I said, Brentford are doing well. They're having a good season for them. But how embarrassing would it be if we lose this game? How embarrassing would this be if if Frank can't beat his set piece coach? It would be embarrassing. It would be absolutely embarrassing. And it's just bloody written in the stars that for him to not win this game and then, that be the final nail in the coffin and him getting sacked and everything. Because like I said, the Newcastle game doesn't change it for me because the performance was the same. The only difference was Romero.
You squad, yeah.
Yeah, Romero was the only difference. So nothing's changed for me. So my confidence for this game hasn't increased any higher than what it would have been before the Newcastle game. It hasn't. And the way I see this game is a recipe for complete disaster. The way we're playing, listen, Brentford are probably going to come with a back five. They're going to sit back as usual, and we're not going to be able to score and break them down unless it's a moment of individual brilliance like Kudus against Fulham or Romero against Newcastle. That's the only way we're going to score. If one of those players doesn't have a moment of individual brilliance, we're not scoring because we can't create a chance for Toffee. So I know exactly how this is going to go. This is going to be dull. This is going to be frustrating. This is going to be really annoying, this game. And listen, Frank has to win for the sake for him to truly ease the pressure on his job. He has to win this game and win it convincingly. But we said that against Fulham, and look what happened. Look what happened.
Yeah.
So for me, listen, clearly it's getting to the players because you're seeing players, falling out with the fans and, having all this drama surrounding, the Vicario incident and, Porro, the thing that happened as well. Like there's been a lot of drama with the players and the fans. And for me, that has all stemmed from bad home form. That has all stemmed from the inability of this team to win at home and the fans getting frustrated. That's what, and big up to Tommy as well. Yeah, Romero bailed us out 100%. And this is what I see it. We still look so poor. There's zero patterns of play going forward, 100%. And I do agree, Romero did lock down Voltemada, if I'm honest.
Voltemada, at least on assist.
Still. But yeah, Tommy, I 100% agree with you on that, Tommy. We still look poor. That's why the Newcastle game hasn't changed anything for me. And Brentford are going to be an issue for us. I can see it coming. I can almost smell it. I can almost smell what's going to happen in this game.
If they win the game via set piece,
that'll sting even more because, like I said, it was Thomas Frank's set piece coach, Keith Andrews. So, if I'm honest, I can't see us winning. I can't see us winning. I think it will be a draw. I think it will be 1-1.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm wrong because we desperately need a win in this game just for the sake of the table. I mean, being in the bottom half is absolutely unacceptable for us, being in the bottom half. So we need a win in this game just because of how we haven't won since the end of October in the league. We need a win. But I don't see us winning. And that's just the story of our season at home. It's going to be another terrible performance. And unless we have a moment of individual brilliance, like Kudus just decides to dribble past their whole team and score, we're going to create nothing, and it's going to be a draw, if we're lucky, sadly. So I'm going 1-1, but I hope I'm wrong. But something tells me I won't be wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you see this?
I think, obviously, I would love to see the storyline of Keith Andrews winning the game, or his team winning the game against Spurs, Thomas Frank losing to his former set-piece coach via set-piece. Could you imagine? But I would say maybe that Newcastle game, despite not doing anything, apart from having 2 shots and scoring.
Apart from Romero. That's it. Apart from Romero.
I'll probably say maybe there might be one more maybe moment of brilliance. Maybe it could be like from Van der Ven or whatever. I think if Spurs don't concede like they did against Fulham, like 2 goals in 6 minutes, then at least there'll be a chance, I would say, for Spurs. So I'll say maybe this is the game Thomas Frank finally wins a home game in the Premier League.
The problem is we can't do it. Like I said, it's not one element's fault. It's not entirely the manager's fault. It's not entirely the players' fault. It's all of their fault. It's just everything combined, to be honest.
Yeah. So my prediction, I'll go 2-1 for Spurs. And I think if Van de Ven is to play, which I think he will because he didn't play against us and he got rested for that Newcastle game, I'll go Van de Ven to score one of the 2 goals for Spurs, I guess. I just think that
that's the only way we're going to win. If one of our centre backs steps up, that's the only. If it's Van de Ven or Romero just putting the team on their back, that's the only way we're going to win.
Or Vicario making very good saves. I think obviously if Spurs are able to lock down someone like Igor Thiago, who's been he's actually the second highest goal scorer in the Prem. I think Igor Thiago at Brentford. So if you can manage to deal with him, then I think Spurs have a decent chance because I think Brentford, obviously they also have Kevin Schade, they have Ottawa, who famously scored that winner against Spurs.
Oh no, not again.
I
remember
that. I think it was just before. Was it just before or the game?
It was. I think it was after the Newcastle game. I think.
I don't remember. I just remember that time Ottawa scored the last minute for Bournemouth.
And Solanke scored in that game as well.
Oh yeah,
for them.
So maybe both of those players, but obviously I think Solanke is still out. But I think I'll go 2-1 Spurs, mainly because I think that has to be a response. And maybe there might be something that Thomas Frank wants to prove to the fans and all. So I expect a few changes in the lineup, and maybe this time it sticks, probably. So that's why I'm saying 2-1 for Spurs, I would say.
The problem is that whatever we do, nothing sticks. And he changes it all the time. I think the mentality of the players is a problem because they clearly have a massive issue playing at home, whether it's the pressure, I don't know. But, I mean, in terms of Kolo Muani, I think he's better. I think he's shown he's better than Richarlison. I'll say that.
Richarlison more goals.
I'm not saying he's been perfect, but he does offer something. But again, like there's no link from the midfield to the attack. We can't get the ball to him. I think his dribbling's quite good. I actually think he's better out wide than he is up top. So if we have a clear problem on the left. If we put Kolo Muani on the left, I think that could potentially be something that can make us a bit better if you put him on the left. So, but I don't know if Frank will do it. I have no idea. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Like it's just whoever we have up there, I don't see it changing because, like I said, we don't have the creativity. Xavi Simons isn't even playing at the moment because Frank's been benching him, and the players that are injured aren't coming back right now until at least the end of December. So. I don't know, man. Like it's horrific what's going on right now.
Yeah,
and that's why I can't believe I'm sitting here saying I can't see us winning at home against Brentford. I never thought I'd say that. That's where we're at right now. We got, like I said, apart from the bottom 2, we're on the worst form in the league over the last 5 games, and we can't win a game, especially at home. And I think this is what's going to get Frank sacked, if I'm being honest. In the end, I'm not saying that if he doesn't win this game, I don't think he'll get sacked after this game, but I think a couple more results, like we've been seeing recently, I think he probably will get sacked because then it will get untenable because the fans already don't like him. The fans are already on his back. And if this just carries on, eventually he probably will get sacked. And I still maintain that. So, like I said, I feel sorry for him because it's not entirely his fault. But at the same time, he is doing things that, aren't helping us. And I think that he's struggling to make the step up from Brentford to Tottenham. It's as simple as that. And yeah, that's unfortunately why I can't see us beating Brentford at home.
Yeah. But even though I'm saying Spurs win, but I guess can move on to both of us are playing at home at the same time. I think first time.
Yeah, 3:00. Yeah.
This season. It's Newcastle versus Burnley. Bloody
Burnley.
Burnley. It's always
Burnley.
Burnley. Um, Obviously, this game is at St. James's. My feeling ahead of this game, I would probably say that it could be good, it can be shit. That sort of thing. It could be
Gattuso sometimes may be good, sometimes maybe
shit. Yeah, because I feel like Burnley. Um, I know we have a very good record against them. In recent times, I think. Well, if you want to say they were the first team we beat. In that 12, 13, 15 game winless run at the start of the 21.
It was the first win under the new owners.
Yeah,
Burnley.
so and this is the game before our sort of anniversary. December 9th is the Newcastle founding. So obviously at home, this is the final home game. Well, not really the final game before the big game, even though yes, Leverkusen are bigger than the other team we play next Sunday or the one after. But
I just realized this is the last Premier League game before the day, the derby day.
This is the episode before the episode, basically.
Yes.
But this game, obviously, I think we have to at least show a lot more than we did against Spurs in this one. And I'll say if we were to draw this game against Burnley, then we would have the same record that we had last season after 15 games, which was 5 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses. So who knows? Maybe it might be a pattern because after that, first 15 games last season, we went on like a 9-game winning run since that. So you know what? If you were to offer me a draw against Burnley, but win 9 games or whatever it was in a row afterwards, you know what? I'll take it. For one, specifically for
the
one.
The thing is with Burnley though, Burnley. I'll say this now. Burnley are going down. They're going down.
I think
they're a champion. I look at the players they have. They're a championship level squad.
Yeah, just like SUND or ELAND.
I mean, even we beat Burnley at home 3-0, and we're terrible at home.
And the only time you beat only home game you've won.
Exactly.
So if we can beat Burnley, then I think obviously this one you need a bit of confidence going into the 2 away games for this upcoming week. That being away at Leverkusen and one being against our second home, which they decorated the stadium for us. I would love. Please!
Imagine they do it again. They won't. But imagine it'll be funniest thing.
Yeah. But with Burnley, obviously, I think they haven't won a game or even picked up a point in the last 6 games. I believe.
They just lost to Crystal Palace at home yesterday.
Yeah. So I do think Burnley can offer us troubles because obviously they'll likely sit with maybe 4 or 5 players at the back, and against Spurs we weren't really able to break down Spurs. If we're not clinical in this game against Burnley, then we might not win this game potentially if we're not as clinical. We were against Everton, and people say Everton are a better team than Spurs in terms of as in, well, actually, Everton are better than Spurs because they're above Spurs.
Right now, yeah. But listen, look, like I said, I'll just do it again. Shout out to Romero for just bailing us out. My captain. Yeah. My captain.
But for this game against Burnley,
bloody Burnley.
This is the Visa derby somewhat, that YouTuber.
Is it?
The Visa? Because I think he supports Burnley, but I think
I know that. But what's the Newcastle thing?
I think he studied in Newcastle or something like that. But this game against Burnley, I'll go. I don't know. That Spurs game didn't really put a lot of confidence, but then that Everton game put a lot of confidence. But then we had that Marseille game, which wasn't good. But we had the Man City game, which was, a pretty good.
Inconsistent right now.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if we carry on that inconsistency into this game, so that we kind of go into that derby with the worst of two forms or whatever. So you know what? I'll go 1-1 in
You
this.
think you're gonna draw? You think you're gonna draw this game?
We're going to have the identical record of last
Oh
season
man,
after 15 games, 5 wins, 5
nah.
draws, 5 losses.
I think you beat Burnley. I think you beat them. I think you win. I think you win 2-0 in this game. I think you win 2-0. I think Voltemada will probably score again, and yeah, I think obviously Bruno will probably come back into the starting lineup. And I think Burnley. Look, like I said, Burnley can't score goals. They've got like guys like who they got up front, like Jaden Anthony and stuff.
Well, at least they did beat Sunderland.
They did. They did beat
game 2. So
they did. So
it really didn't amount to anything because look where both of those.
I think you do win. I think you win 2-0. I think this is one of your easier games on paper. This is a kind fixture, you could say. And
I think if we drop points in this one,
if you drop points in this one, it's bad. If you in this game, if you drop points, you can't.
Yeah,
I mean you have to.
We've beaten,
especially because look, you're still in the bottom half of the table. Like just like us, I think both of us have to win our games on Saturday because we're both in positions that aren't acceptable right now. So
at least we still have a slight chance of doing the quad.
At least you're still in the Carabao Cup. I mean, we're not even in that because of the expense of you guys.
You're welcome. At least you don't have to play an extra game. But I would say, I'll go with a draw 1-1. Charlie will go with a 2-0 for us. I don't know. I just feel like that inconsistency will carry on in this game.
I don't know. I just don't see you failing to beat Burnley at home.
Yeah, maybe. But we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong and hopefully you're wrong for the sake of both of our teams. But I guess we'll go into the shining lights of the UEFA Champions League. Obviously, I think we're above Spurs. Yeah, we're above Spurs.
We're I think we're 10th. Or we're 5th. We might be 15th now.
We're 15th. With Spurs, who play on Tuesday because we play on Wednesday. Tuesday night, we have Spurs versus Slavia Prague from the Czech Republic, who, in their last game, Slavia Prague drew 0-0 against Athletic Club. But to be honest, Athletic Club's not doing well because we beat Athletic. So, Slavia Prague.
Listen, I have to be honest, this game is quite a special game because it's been announced that Son will be coming back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to
play?
No, not to play. I wish we could do with him right now, but to say goodbye to give because he didn't get to do a proper goodbye because he didn't know he was leaving at the end of the season. It wasn't until pre-season. So Son will be coming back to say goodbye. I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, he deserves the goodbye. Yeah, exactly. We both do. And it'll be nice to see him again. For the last time for a while. But obviously because the MLS season has ended, so he'll be able to come back to a game and say goodbye. So that'll be nice for the game to see him there. But listen, Slavia Prague at home again. It's a must-win game in the Champions League after us losing 5-3 to PSG.
Which you were. I'll be honest. I was.
Yeah, we were better, but we still conceded 5 goals. And I think one of the reasons we were better was because PSG were wide open defensively. And, with space, we can be quite decent. But listen, for us to get in the top 8 in the Champions League, there's 3 games left. We have to win all 3 of them. It's as simple as that. We have to get 9 out of 9 points if we're going to have a chance of getting into the top 8. Do I see that happening? No, because we have to play Borussia Dortmund in one of the games.
Yeah, thank you. And
Frankfurt, I mean, they're not as good as last season when we beat them. So that's a winnable one. And I think this Slavia Prague one, I think is a must win. I think it's a must win. Obviously one of the weaker teams in the competition. And Tommy, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I think you'll win comfortably.
And he said, what do you call this? I don't think Tommy will get any breathing room.
Yeah, if we lose, fans will go crazy. Yeah.
But his name is Tommy.
Yeah. Tommy, yeah. But I agree. I think if we don't beat Brentford, fans will go toxic again.
What if you don't beat Slavia?
Oh my God! If we don't beat Slavia, My word. But I do think we're going to beat Slavia. Whatever happens against Brentford, I think Slavia, look, at home in Europe,
Premier League champions.
We're unbeaten. We're unbeaten over the across a few years. We're unbeaten at home in Europe for quite a long time. I think that this is like kind of like Copenhagen. I said we'd beat Copenhagen despite us being on horrendous form. We did. I think Slavia at home, it's a similar level of opposition. I'm hoping that we have enough to win. I mean, if we don't beat Slavia Prague, I think it's embarrassing for us. Again, with all due respect to Slavia Prague. But I think we will win. I think we'll win 2-0. I think it will be kind of boring, but I think in the end we'll have enough.
I hope it's not boring, but you know what?
I think we win 2-0 against Slavia. I know what you're going to do.
Well, I said you'll beat Brentford, at least.
But you said we draw to Copenhagen. That's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe I picked the wrong game you draw.
Yeah.
So this one, against Slavia, Czech First League champions. I think that's the name of the league.
Exactly.
So you're playing against a champion. Well, actually, both of our teams were champions last season. Yeah, you could say.
Yeah, if they're even lesser than, I mean, I haven't watched Slavia Prague, but if they're even lesser than Copenhagen, then that has to be a.
Well, actually, in their game, Slavia, obviously the first game of the Champions League, 2-2 against Bodo Glimt. I remember,
and they were 2-0 up in that game. Slavia.
Yeah, and in the last game, I said they drew 0-0 with Athletic Club, and I think I'll be honest, Athletic Club's kind of similar sort of situation as Spurs, not to the extent or the coverage of it, but Athletic and Spurs are kind of in the similar sort of.
Well, they're having problems. I know they're not having the best season. So.
Yeah. So if Slavia could get that draw at home, I know it was at home against.
I think with in Europe we have been good at home for a while in Europe, and I think Slavia has to be a comfortable win. It's as simple as that. Anything less than that is shocking, to be honest.
Yeah. So you know what? 0-0.
0-0. The thing is,
Arsenal did beat them as well.
Wait, Inter did as well. Inter beat them. Arsenal did. Who else? I think someone else beat them as well.
I think their record is 3 draws, 2 losses.
Okay, so they haven't won a game basically. So
yeah. Oh, watch.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. I wouldn't even. To be honest,
I'll go 0-0.
To be honest, I wouldn't even be that shocked, but I do think we win. I think we have too much for Slavia. Like I said, Copenhagen was comfortable. I expect this to be similar. It should be. If it's not, it's pretty disgraceful, but I do think it probably will be. So 2-0. 2-0 for me in that one.
Yeah, and I think this is probably when Spurs have to kind of, like, if you don't beat Brentford, as you would predict.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to beat Brentford.
Yeah, but if you beat Slavia, then you have to finally at least sort of like carry on the form, whatever, because like you had Copenhagen before, but you didn't really carry on the form.
No.
And all that. And even when you beat Villarreal in game 1,
that was bad.
Yeah,
that was bad. That was a horrible. I mean, that should have been 0-0 that game. Listen, Dr. Tottenham. I mean, to be fair, you saying it is one thing, but I mean, the fact that our own fans say that is ridiculous. I've always hated the Dr. Tottenham thing. When our own fans say it, but yeah. What's Newcastle? You guys are playing in the Champions League.
Ooh, on Wednesday we play. Let me get the time. On Wednesday night we play. It's unfortunate he's not the manager because he left after like 2 games. It's not Erik Seven Haag. It's Kasper Hjulmand's Bayer Leverkusen.
He just beat Manchester City.
And they played Dortmund in both the league and DFB. They lost to them at home in the league, but beat them away in the cup, in the DFB Pokal. So Leverkusen, they're okay. Like, obviously they're 4th in the Bundesliga, but it's only like 3 points behind second place. Obviously, I don't think they're winning the league, so it doesn't really matter. And obviously they play Augsburg at around the same time as Newcastle against Burnley. So both will be on the same sort of like, what do you call this, travel or whatever, rest days. But obviously, we are away in this game. But if anyone doesn't know, we actually have I know it's only 2 games, 2 competitive games against them, but we have beaten Bayer Leverkusen both times. That being in the 2003 Champions League season in the group stage. And in that season, we progressed to the next group stage round back almost 22 years ago. So we do have a good record against Bayer Leverkusen. I know it's only 2 competitive games, but it's something to go off on. Um, so, oh yeah, I do think you win, but they drew 3-3 against Barcelona.
I mean, they just, to be fair though, they just lost to like Sporting. To be fair,
Yeah.
Club Brugge. So
And
you don't really know what you get. They're a good side, but on their day, you don't really know what you're going to get with them.
Yeah.
So
I know you really want them to Bruges 2-1.
Yeah, of course, but I just don't know because I mean they drew to Barcelona, but then they lost to Sporting, so I don't know what to expect from them, to be honest.
Yeah, but for this game against Leverkusen, obviously they beat Manchester City in the Champions League, which no one really saw coming.
I think Pep completely screwed it because he made 11 changes,
and that was after our game, when we beat them 2-1. So
he made way too many changes. I mean, you had guys like Trafford playing in goal and stuff. So
exactly, that's why people are saying, "Oh, Trafford now wants to leave and want Trafford." For me, I think there are better goalkeepers than Trafford. But yeah, for this game against Leverkusen, as I said, we do have a good competitive record against them, and obviously, if we want to, in a way, secure top 24, get a point in this game. Oh, damn, I didn't know that. We ain't lost this season in Champions League. We're unbeaten.
Listen, all I'm going to say about that is Liverpool did the same last year, and look what happened.
You'll probably play, we'll see.
So the way I see it with the Champions League is the real Champions League starts in the knockout stage. That's what
in February and all.
Because I think if Liverpool won didn't they win every game 8 out of 8?
Well, they lost 1, but that was game 8.
So they won 7 out of 8, and then look what happened. So.
Yeah, even Aston Villa made it further. But I would say this game against Leverkusen, obviously they'll be a difficult team, but our record against them is pretty good historically. Both 3-1 wins, both home and away. So I'll say as a prediction, and maybe because maybe we need a bit of response from not beating Burnley.
We'll win. No, you're gonna beat Burnley. You will. I'm telling you, you'll beat Burnley.
And this is the game the day after our anniversary, December 9th, 1892. See, I'm not a fake Newcastle fan. I
just realized you guys were founded 10 years later than us because we were founded in 1882 in September.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact date, but it was in September sometime.
Yeah. Well, I think it's mainly that day is not really the founding of the club. It's more of the merge.
Because you were East Newcastle and West Newcastle. Yeah.
So, but to kind of celebrate that, you get an away Champions League win, and then obviously the next game. After that, I would love as well. So you know what? Maybe there'll be a bit of response.
You're itching for the Sunderland game, aren't you? You're itching. You're ready.
I'm ready to beat them, but that'll be for next episode.
Yeah, that's another story for another episode.
Yeah, but for this game against Leverkusen, you know what? I'll go with a win, and I said this to a lot of people. That we'll be inconsistent in the Prem, but in the Champions League. I think we turn up. I know we lost to Barcelona and Marseille. But I think in the end we'll be okay. And actually at the moment we're actually on track. What I predicted, 13 points is what I predicted. We're on 9. So that's a win, a draw, and a loss, which could actually happen. PSV Leverkusen might be 4 points there and lose to PSG. So I'm actually on course. For predicting our points tally. Obviously, the more the better, but I'll go with us to win. I'll go just like it was in 2003, 2004 season, the only time we played them in a competitive fixture. I'm going Leverkusen 1, Newcastle 3.
Yeah, I think you win as well. I know Leverkusen beat City, but this isn't the Leverkusen of this isn't Xabi Alonso Leverkusen. Like it's nowhere near. Like they've lost a bunch of players. I think the only one listen, PSG aren't even the best team.
Right. Yeah, it's actually it's Arsenal.
I think Angus, you should be worried about more than just PSG. I'll tell you that.
Should be worried about us.
But I think that you win. I said, I don't even make PSG favourites at the moment, if I'm honest. Lons are actually top of Liga. They're above PSG right now.
Oh, I hope they win it. I hope
PSG. I can tell you for a fact PSG will win that.
Yeah, true.
One way or another, but I think you win 3-1 as well. I think you win 3-1. I think it will be kind of like the USG game in some ways. Obviously, it would be your second Champions League away game. And I've been saying this consistently for a few weeks now. I think Newcastle will get in the top 8. I think you've got kind fixtures. Obviously, you're playing PSV. I know they just beat Liverpool, but still, like PSV are not a great team whatsoever.
Well, actually, we do have not a great record competitively against PSV, but we do have a good record against both Leverkusen and PSG.
So I think you'll win. I think you'll get 6 points, and then you'll lose to PSG on the last game. That's what I think. So that should be enough.
15 points might be enough. I don't know.
Should be. This should maybe just about. So I think you win. Yeah, Leverkusen. They're not. I know they just beat City, but they're not. They're not really the Leverkusen of the last couple of years. So I think. Yeah. I reckon 3-1 Newcastle as well.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, we're both going 3-1. Hopefully, you're correct in that. But I guess we'll wrap up the show for today. Obviously, really good show. Talking about both of us. Well, at least we talk about one of our teams winning.
Second show in a row that I can't say that.
I mean, maybe if who's the referee in our game? I forgot, but yeah.
Oh, whatever his name is, the absolute fraud. Whatever his name is.
We should have won. But yeah, very good show. Charlie, shout yourself out.
Yeah, look, big up 10 for hosting the show again. Big up to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, lots of people actually.
Yeah, big up to everyone that watched today. Make sure you're subscribed to both channels if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll be back soon.
Friday.
Obviously, yeah. We'll be back on Friday for the World Cup draw, and it will be streamed on both channels. That will be on my birthday tomorrow, so that should be good. But yeah, obviously the next show we will be obviously talking about the big game for 10 that he's waited 8 years for.
Not really 8 years because we did beat them.
The FA Cup, but in the league that he's waited a long time in the league for.
We have not beaten them in the league since 2011.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's crazy. 14, 15 years. So, but we'll talk about when that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, make sure you don't miss the next show because 10 is going to be fired up. That's for sure.
And hopefully the one after that, after the game. Hopefully, but we'll see.
We'll be talking about Spurs against obviously the games that we just played and Spurs against Forest.
Oh,
Forest.
What could have been?
It's not Ange. You're I'm lucky.
Ange. Yay!
To be fair, I wish it was Ange because maybe we'd win. But yeah, big up everyone for watching as always, and yeah, big up to 10 every single time.
Once again, obviously, we will be doing the World Cup final draw where we find out who gets who in the World Cup. That will be for the UK audience, 5 p.m. For people in the East Coast of America, that will be 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Tomorrow for the World Cup draw. So obviously Charlie and I will be on there, and there will also be Ahmed Zia Talks. There will be AD744 and Rank Talks Ball. So 5 people, a good panel and all that. Should be a really interesting show and all that. And obviously some other predictions. Nick saying 2-0. For Villa Arsenal, I'm going Arsenal to win.
Probably like 1-0 or some shit.
I'll go 2-1 Arsenal. And then against Club Brugge, I'll go also 2-0.
I think you beat Villa and draw to Club Brugge. Something tells me that.
Yeah. Nope.
Imagine he scores. That'll be kind of funny,
no.
To be honest. Boom shakalaka.
Well, I'm not actually. Well, that I'm not sure.
The draw will be on. I think it will be on YouTube. It will be on YouTube.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube.
Angus, you can just find it on YouTube. It will be there.
Yeah, or just watch our show. Why not?
Yeah, because we'll be doing. Yeah, we'll be doing the.
It'll be a lot better than the pre-show of before of the actual draw.
Yeah, because they'll talk for about like half an hour. So at least, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll wrap it up here, and yeah, we'll see you guys on Friday for the World Cup draw, and for my video or my live would be the La Liga show. But yeah, see you guys in the next one.